Hey everyone, Voodoo here. So today we're going over the Hunter talent trees. There's been a ton of changes the last time I covered them. Really just an incredible amount. So we're going to go over them today. We're going to do a class tree and then all three spec trees. I'll try to keep things brief and quick because there are a lot of things to go over. It's been a few weeks. I've kind of been letting the Hunter dev catch up. So we're going to get right into that. Before we start though, please consider subscribing. Leaving a like and leaving a comment as well. I'll having tons of more Season 4 and Alpha coverage over the coming weeks. And it really helps me out. I'm a small channel and I really appreciate the growth. And with that out of the way, we're going to start with the class tree. So we're going to start with the class tree, and already, just looking at this class tree, you can tell there's been a ton of changes since the last time I've covered this. Now, I've been kind of waiting for a few different reasons. I knew there were going to be some things coming down the line that I wanted to talk about whenever they came up for the Hunters, so I was kind of waiting for that, and they've sort of shown up. We're going to go over it now. Not too much has changed in the top here, in these upper rows here. The health increase for your pet has been changed for improved men pet. I think that's good. You'll never really take the health increase, and men pet will be taken in like open world or PvP, so I think this is a fine place to put it. BM still gets kill command, survival still gets kill command, and then MM gets kill shot, and pretty much you're still going down and taking the same things until you hit this node here. So if you notice, trank shots will move down here and replaced with survival of the fittest, which is actually really good. So this was the old tenacity / lone wolf ability you'd get, kind of like lust or like that the cunning pet that, like, I think it's like a blessing of freedom basically. 3-minute cooldown reduces damage you take by 20% for 6 seconds. It's a bad personal, but it's still a personal that hunters get, and they do have the ability to improve it. Now this is gone from tenacity pets and lone wolf, and instead you're gonna get something called, I believe it's fortitude of the bear. Don't quote me on the name on that moment. It's something of the bear. It's a 20% health increase. We don't know how long it is, or we don't know its cooldown. I imagine it'll be like 6 to 8 seconds, maybe a 1.5 to 2 minutes, maybe 3. Hopefully not 3 though. Minute cooldown. So it'll be good to add like an extra defensive on top of these, and will probably give you an interesting interplay between tenacity and ferocity pets whenever you take those. It's not on alpha right now, so we can't test it, unfortunately. Tenacity pets still give you survival of the fittest, which is a bug. It's just not on. But we're going to take that misdirection, obviously, too. And now here we are. So one issue here is you definitely want to be taking Rejuvenating Wind, which means you do need to take Tar Trap. You definitely don't always want to take Tar Trap, but it basically means that you have to spend 10 points in this upper row here, which is definitely not the best. You could obviously not take Misdirection. I would recommend taking Misdirection, but you know, you don't have to. Now you're down in here. So Trank was moved over here, and then there's improved Trank down here. That's optional, of course. This node used to be down here, used to be Avoidance, and it's now Dodge. Dodge isn't very useful. I don't see really taking this node. They've put Rejuvenating Wind, which is the current conduit that Exhilaration heals you for an additional amount of your health over 8 seconds. It's a pretty good defensive node you can take. And they shoulder around this thing here. So before, this used to be right in the middle, and you had to pass through Binding Shackles down here to kind of access anything, really. You still have to pass through Binding Shackles, but Binding Shackles is a 1-point node now. And you don't have to take Improved Traps at all. That used to be down here. That's a big deal. They've lowered the cost of Agile Movement and Born to be Wild by 2 points. Sorry, by a point. So these are now just 2-point nodes and 3-point nodes. That's all good stuff. Below here, we'll start with Survival of the Fittest. We get the really cool node, actually. So this is like the Shaman one, and the Shaman and Hunter both have the same developer, so it makes sense it's here. So this reduces the cooldown of Survival of the Fittest by a minute, increase its duration by 2 seconds, so it makes it a 2-minute, 8-second, 20% DR. Or you can make it a 3-minute, 40% DR. Now, I think the 40% DR is kind of crazy, and you'll probably be taking that most of the time, especially in conjunction with Born to be Wild. So this actually reduces Survival of the Fittest now. So when you take this and this, you have a 2.4 minute, which is a weird time, but you know, hey, that's what you get. It's about 2 minutes and 20-some seconds. 2 minutes, 20-some seconds, 40% DR for 6 seconds. That's kind of crazy. You can also take the minute reduction, which will put it at about a minute something for a 20% DR. That's basically Barkskin. It's a little bit worse than Barkskin, but effectively it is Barkskin. So you do have some interplay and choices there. This also reduces your movement speed and your turtle, so that's fun. From there, stuff's pretty much the same. Binding Shot, Binding Shackles, Agile Movement, the Stun, and now we've unlocked the bottom row. Now you do have some choices here. You can drop out of Agile Movement, pick up Trank Shot, pick up Improved Trank Shot if you want. You can grab Misdirection and Trank Shot. You can grab Misdirection and a point in Agile Movement. Or you can put some points in this new ability, Sentinel. So this is kind of like Kyrian Arrow. So call forth a Sentinel Owl to the target location, granting you unhindered vision. Your attacks ignore line of sight against any target in this area. Every 200 focus spent grants 1 second of this effect, up to a maximum of 12 seconds. And it can only be summoned when it lasts at least 5 seconds. So you spend about 200 focus every 4 or so seconds, 4 or 5 seconds. So basically every 20 to 30 seconds you'll be able to cast this ability, and it'll be up for 5 seconds. But the longer you wait, the longer it'll be up. In Raid, I don't see this getting much use at all. In M+, we could have some interesting applications in certain bosses or dungeon rooms that have pillars you can hide behind or things you can LOS to attack stuff through. And it does get some more interesting change in abilities applications down here. We're just going to unlock the bottom row. So obviously none of this stuff has changed. The point cost has been reduced a little bit. You're still going to be taking all this pet damage stuff as BM and as survival. And pretty much up in here, everything is going to pretty much stay the same for each spec. If you're MM, you don't want to take Intimidation because it doesn't work. So High Explosive Trap, or you could take the Dodge or something else up here. You could also take Sentinel and the button below it because you have a lot of extra points as MM. You take Keen Eyesight still. This was lowered to a 2-point talent. Very good. Now, Stampede was moved from here down to Death Chakram choice node. I still think you're almost always going to take Death Chakram, but Chakrams was never really taken. So this is a good change in my opinion. Stampede is interesting, but it still doesn't work very well. The fact that it just kind of goes in a straight line, it can Z-axis stuff, so if there's things like above, it doesn't really work. It's very immobile. So if they were to kind of change it a little bit, make it a little more forgiving, easier to hit, I think it would be a good change. But for now, I think you're always just going to take Death Chakram. Trapping Apparatus reduced to 2 points. This is still a really bad button. It kind of sucks because MM has to kind of take it because they just don't have... They have too many points to spend. Barrage and Explosive Shot put in a choice node. Very good. And then Master Marksman was made easier to get. Again, good change. Now, one thing is that Serpent's Thing and Master Marksman, they're kind of hidden behind each other. So as BM, you can't really take latent poison injectors, which is fine. I still think going down this tree is still super restrictive, but it's just so good for the pet classes that you kind of have to do it. Everything else not really has been changed. Oh, Hydra's Bite actually was changed. So I don't remember it was here before. I think it was something that fired free Serpent Stings, if I remember. But now it's Hydra's Bite, so Serpent Sting shoots out 2 additional arrows at nearby targets and deals more damage. It's a survival talent, pretty easy. Anyway, so the real meat and potatoes here is going to be Sentinel and its things below it. So this hasn't been implemented yet on PTR, we can't test it. But you have a choice node, where Sentinel Owl also gives its hit through wall effect to your party, which could be very interesting in M+. Of course, it's powerful in PvP, but I don't PvP. This isn't a really PvP channel. But in M+ is very interesting. And the other one is whenever it's active, you gain X Leech and 3% avoidance, X% avoidance. I imagine, as this is right now, it's not very powerful. 5% Leech, 3% avoidance is pretty negligible. If this would be buffed up to like 10%, you might be able to take this. But in terms of like party utility, I don't think this is really cutting the mustard, as they say. I don't really think it's that impactful. I think this could have some interesting play in M+, but other than that, I don't think it's really going to be a reason you bring them to raid, and I don't really think it's going to be that reasonable to invest points here. You have to be getting up some throughput to take this, because it's in the bottom row. Ooh, come on, computer, there we go. It's in the bottom row. If this were maybe moved up 1, and you could put a point in here in the 8 to 20 bracket, that I could see this having some choice, having some interplay. But as it is, you're kind of giving up throughput to take this weird see-through wall, hit-through wall thing, and I don't think it's ever going to be that impactful. For MM, though, since you don't take any of this stuff, you definitely can take it. I don't know, we'll take Wisdom, and then still have everything that you want. Now, we're still left with 1 point, which, not really anywhere else to put it. Necessarily Trapping Apparatus feels terrible to use, especially because it only works off successful freezing traps. But because you don't have anywhere else to put points, it's still technically a gain. You could just put it in the dodge, though. So that's basically the class tree for Survival and MM and BM. Survival will basically run the same as BM here. You just go down and grab your 2 kill command, and then you're done. I really like that they've added in Survival of the Fittest and Lone Survivor and Born to be Wild here. I think this actually gives hunters a pretty decent survivability option. They've gone from being one of the squishies classes to kind of a mid-tier class there. They have a choice of having a really strong wall on a longer cooldown or basically having a slightly worse bark skin, which is still pretty good. Plus, they have the ability to have that tenacity pet 20% HP increase. So I think there's definitely some good changes coming. I think they want to. I think they should play around the Sentinel a little bit more. I think it's interesting, but I don't think it's very useful or viable in a lot of scenarios. We'll have to see if there's like forced LOS mechanics in Raid or M+, where this could be super useful. The only one that's really happened in recent memory is Ashara, where you had to hide behind the pillar when she cast something, or when one of them cast something. I think it might have been the two mobs at the start that spawned. It's been a while. I don't really remember Ashara that well. But, yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely been some great changes, and I'm looking forward to see more that are coming out from these devs. Alright, next we're going to look at the BM tree. A lot of it's the same, but there have been some pretty big changes that are really impactful. You're still going to go down and grab all these same buttons, especially this for AoE, or not. Grabbing everything here still. Kill command damage in this. Now, here's where we start getting things different. We'll just go through it. So this, Kill Cleave, Beast Cleave, sorry, it used to be a 3-point talent, which was a lot. Also, deals reduced HP on 3,000 targets isn't right. That's really funny. I just noticed that. Which was a lot. Now it's a 2-point talent. It's the same effectiveness as before. However, each point also increases how long Beast Cleave goes on for. So at the maximum, it's 6 seconds of length, which is really good. So the issue with Beast Cleave came in the fact that Kill Cleave means you had to be using multi-shot every 2 globals pretty much to keep Beast Cleave up, and then weaving in kill commands after that. You were very, very focus starved during that. You could barely ever keep up anything you wanted to. There just wasn't a lot of focus to go around. This change makes it much better. You have a lot more time between your multi-shots now for kill command and Beast Cleave and all that stuff to actually be useful. So that's good. Nothing else has really changed. They moved Stomp up, so Stomp used to be down here, and Bloodshed used to be down here. They've put Bloodshed and Mareo Crows in one talent choice over here, which is good, and swapped it with Dire Beast. I will say in AoE, because you don't really grab Thrill of the Hunt, even though I think this is too many, I think Thrill of the Hunt should be reduced. You're not going to grab Dire Beast in AoE, really. Stomp being here is much better, though. It means that you can take it in AoE or in single target now. It being locked down here was not very good. After the Wild is still here. They moved Wailing Arrow over here. It's very easy to grab now, so that's very good. This has all remained the same. Nothing really has changed here. They added a new talent, Bloody Frenzy. So basically, Barb Shot has a chance to apply second stack of Frenzy. It's 15% on first point and then 30% on the second point. See here. Now the thing there is that Frenzy can still only stack up to 3 times, so I don't really know when you would be using this talent. I guess it's to kind of allow you to catch back up if you drop your Frenzy. But you really shouldn't be ever dropping your Frenzy. And if you want to use the points to get kind of more Frenzy stacks, I think Wild Call is a better choice because you get the Barb Shot resets instead of the extra stacks. But yeah, so I don't really know why this is here. I guess it's fine. Maybe if you're also not as good at the class, you can take this and choose it. They've also redesigned this entire row here. So this used to be that whenever you summon a Dire Beast, your Steady Shot, which was Cobra Shot, and Multi-Shot would deal 10% more damage, which is really bad. They changed the whole thing. So this is still here. Kill Command has a chance to summon a Dire Beast. I think it's too many points. Pretty much, if you get this row at six points, and you only get basically 9 points down here because you need to spend 21 points up here for your AoE talents. So if you get this, you're very restricted. I only have 3 points left, so like I can get like 1 here and then 2 Scent of Bloods, but you don't really want that. So I think this should be reduced in point value still for it to be really good. But I think overall, kind of the themes down here are fine. So this one didn't change. It still reduces. It has a chance to summon Dire Beasts. This one, Dire Beasts deal more damage and last longer. That's cool. You get haste while they're up. And then this one, every 5 Dire Beasts you summon resets the cooldown of Kill Command and reduces its cost and cooldown by 50% for 8 seconds. So you can just spam out Kill Commands. This is a loop because pretty much the more Dire Beasts you summon, the more Kill Commands you get. The more Kill Commands you do, the higher chance you have of summoning a Dire Beast. So it kind of loops into itself. However, because of this point cost, I don't think it's ever really worth it to invest in there. Realistically, you're going to grab something like this for a more AoE-focused build. Grabbing Wailing Arrow, and then, I don't know, you put a point wherever you want. Probably in, like, Wild Call or something. And then for single target, you're going to drop out this stuff here. You're going to put it into 3 points and Thrill of the Hunt. grab Beast of Wrath, this, and then we're at 21 points again. And then you just grab your this, Relic Stalkers, this, Bloody Frenzy, and then you have a choice. You can put, you have 2 points here. You can put a point into Dire Beast, and then Murder Crows or Bloodshed, or you can do just Bloodshed and then a point in here. So you have a few options now. I still think overall that BM's pretty cookie cutter in terms of tree, but I think the tree itself is pretty great. The stuff you get is really fun. BM feels really good. Call the Wild's a great button. Being able to actually grab an arrow now in AoE is great. Stomp being back is really good, especially with you know, all the barb shots you can be getting with your all the pets you summon. The fact that they moved this up here makes it really easy to pick. So really, I don't have many complaints with the BM tree. I still think it's weird that this is a 3-point talent. I think it should be reduced, and I think that this one is just too costly to kind of invest into unless it's tuned to just be incredibly higher than anything else. It's a very different playstyle. It's actually pretty fun to use, but I think it's just 6 points into this investment is just too much, unless it's just incredibly tuned. But overall, I think BM is still in a great spot. I think its tree is really good, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Alright, so next we're here in the MM tree, and MM has had some pretty big changes. So already looking here, there's been a lot of shifts around from the previous tree I covered. Really good. MM's actually in a pretty solid state now. I think one thing is that you do still end up spending a lot of points up here in the top row. You kind of want to grab all this stuff here. And even then, that's 11 points, right? And then you can grab this and cleave. But I think they have changed a lot of stuff, right? So here's this. You basically are just going to grab this every time, single target or AoE. Lone Wolf 2, sorry. And then from here, things have changed pretty reliably. So we can see here that Rapid Fire has been moved up to a more central part of the tree. The focus cost has been put into it, which is really big. And they've also just made it more easy to pick up and a more valuable part of your rotation. They've moved some things out of this top row here. They've gotten rid of some as well, which is really good. So it used to be I have to spend 19 points in the top, which was not a fun thing for anyone. It was just too many. They've put Chimera Shot here, which is, again, really good. It's just useful and a pretty quick 1-point node if you're in that cleave scenario. They've put Lone Wolf up here. Lone Wolf used to be like down here. Great change. Overall, pretty happy with the top side here. I still think it's a lot of points, but it's not that big of a deal because the rest of the tree you don't need to spend that many points on. Down in the middle here, they've moved Deathblow up here, and they've moved Bullseye down here. I think that's fair. Bullseye is still super strong and isn't really something that could be available up here. They've put Multi-Shot down here, which again I think is fine. Multi-Shot used to be like here, and you needed to take Killing Blow to get, which is really weird, and then it would like connect to Trick Shots over here, and just you'd have to take you could get Trick Shots without taking Multi-Shot. I just think it was weird. Which is good there. They moved Double Tap up. Double Tap used to be all the way down here, so great change. They've put Bursting Shot off on the side, meaning you don't have to take it. They've put Deadeye off to the side, meaning you don't have to take it. Deadeye was that Heal Shot has 2 charges. Not a good button. Basically did nothing. Really good change. All this stuff here is just more damage increases that you're pretty much going to take all the time. And then Searching Shots, right? They've also put Razor Fragments into the tree. So this is a rework, essentially, of the Venthyr Covenant Legendary. So whenever Trick Shots fades or is consumed, or you gain a charge of Death Blow, which you have to take... Oh, sorry, you don't actually need to take Death Blow. But you have to take Death Blow to get down into Razor Fragments. Your next kill shot deals more damage and hits 5 targets near your kill shot for 50% of the damage over time, which I think is really good. This is a decent enough button now, and I think should be used in AoE. I think it's a little weird that you can't, doesn't let you proc it on any target, so you can't just use kill shot on any target. But the fact that Death Blow does work with it is a little bit better there. I'll take this, we'll take this. They've actually nerfed this down to different values, but that's not that big of a deal. And then Surface Doctor Trickery has been put down to 1 point, which is good. You were never taking 2 points here. 50% is enough to have 100% uptime of Serpent Sting. So there really was no need to ever really take this node. Then we'll build out down here in single target. Lock and Load, 1 point, good. It's in a pretty easy spot to get in the tree. There's lots of different choices to lead into it, and it's pretty cheap. True Shot there. Now, Calling the Shots is still here, and there are still issues with how you're not really using your Arcane Shots during True Shot. However, I think they aren't really going to change this. They've talked about how they think it's fine that you're munching these procs during True Shot. So I don't really think this will change. I still think it's not a very good design where your CDR isn't really that impactful, because during your cooldown that you want, that's powerful, you're just not spending these procs, so you're not really getting that CDR. So I think that's questionable, but other than that, I think that's, it's whatever. They've buffed Unerring Vision. This is really good. So while it's active, you gain 1% crit chance and 2% crit damage every second, stacking up to 10 times. So that is 20% crit damage, 10% crit strike chance during True Shot, which turns True Shot into an actual strong cooldown. So this is a combination of, I believe there was a Legion talent or artifact ability, and then the BFA Azurite trait, Enduring Vision. This is really good. Marksmanship actually has a real kind of cooldown now, where you're dealing increased damage. You're not just sending out more aim shots, you're actually doing that more damage, which is great. Eagle Hound's True Focus, I don't think you'll ever really take. Increases True Shot duration and makes all focus cost less. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think you're always going to take Enduring Vision. Bullseye's here. Bullseye's really good. You're going to take that. And then they've actually moved Legacy of the Windrunners. They've reduced it from a 5-point tree, like needing to take 5 points to get it, down into 3. And I actually do think you take it now, especially in single target. Throw some in there, and boom. There's your single target marksmanship. I still think there's some things. There's a lot of points up here that you just kind of have to take that are just damage increases, like all these, which aren't great, but they've really fixed a lot of them and made it a lot better. They've moved a lot of tree options around and given you more choices to take things down the tree. We'll look at some of the AoE talents now, which I do have issues with. So in AoE, you are going to take multi-shot, trick shots, volley, obviously. Then we're down in this area. So this is kind of the AoE part of the tree. I do think one thing that's weird is that Wailing Arrow, which is an AoE ability, you're not really going to use as a single target, isn't over here. I think Wailing Arrow could pretty easily be slotted right in the middle of here, or kind of this can be moved over. We put Wailing Arrow down here or something. I don't think it being over here makes that much sense, but it's over here for now, so that's, you know, that's what it is. Heavy ammo, light ammo, great button. You can make your trick shot either deal more damage and hit less targets, or just hit more targets, so that's cool. Bombardment is interesting. So this is good for like a cleave fight. So every 6 arcane shots gives you bombardment, which makes your next multi-shot grant trick shots. If you put more points in this, it just makes it less arcane shots you need. They've talked about making this a 1-point talent, which I think it should, or increasing damage in multi-shot. I think 2 points for this is a lot, but it's interesting that they give them like a cleave option. You also have Sharpshooter. This is just a crit damage increase. It's weird it's here, but I guess, again, you know, you can get down here without actually taking AoE options. And then we have Salvo. So Salvo, every 45 seconds, your next multi-shot also casts Explosive Shot up to 2 targets. This is really cool. You basically, every 45 seconds, you have a big kind of AoE nuke with multi-shot. Explosive Shot does good damage. I'm pretty sure it's uncapped. It's reduced beyond 5, but whatever. It's like a weird rendition of the Necrolord Legendary, and I think it's actually really interesting that's here. And I think it could be pretty fun to play a round with. Light ammo. Grab stuff like that. Oh, I forgot to grab True Shot. You'll probably do something like this for AoE, I imagine. It sucks you can't get Bullseye, but I think it's fine. I think Bullseye could be put up here or moved over to an easier spot to access, because right now to get Bullseye, you do need Serpent Stalker's Trickery, which means you need, I guess you're always running double tap, but, you know, it's a 3-point investment to get down here, which is, you know, it's questionable, that choice, but it's a fine enough choice. I understand why it's there. Really, I think the biggest issue with Marksman at the moment is I don't think this node does much. I think Sharpshooter is kind of a boring node. It's crit strike damage, which is good, and crit is good for marksmanship. But I think it's weird where it is. I think it would make more sense higher up in the tree, but that would also lead into the other issue where there's just a lot of bloat up in this top part of the tree that you kind of have to take. It's balanced out by the fact that there's like all this stuff down here is pretty much 1-point to 2-point talents, so there's not a lot you need to be taking. But again, I think it's still weird there's a lot up here. And the last big complaint I have is that Wailing Arrow is an AoE ability on the single target side of the tree, so this could just be moved over, and it would be great. But that's Marksmanship. A lot of changes. Marksmanship is actually very fun right now to play. I think the changes to True Shot and Enduring Vision, sorry, that's the big one, are actually really good, especially with Legacy of the Windrunners being able to be grabbed now, and Bullseye is over here, being very strong, this being reduced to 1 point. A lot of good changes. Curious to see where things go from here, but I'm really liking where this is headed. Alright, so last up is Survival. Now, I still think there are some definitely issues with the Survival tree, but it's been made a lot better. A lot of points have been reduced. This is a 2-point node now. Bomb is much higher. This is only 1 point for reset. Now, Kill Command has a base 15% chance to reset, so this is the same as live. Eagle's been moved up, so you are going to take it in this scenario now. You just have a pet damage node. Bloodseeker's here. Eagle. I think one weird thing is that you need Eagle to get into Mongoose Bite for your single target. However, you know, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Eagle or Harpoon are both fine choices. Taking one of them isn't that big of a deal. And then we're kind of here. So this, you're going to kind of use in all scenarios. Just Just you're going to take 9 points to get up here. And AoE, you'll probably end up dropping these because you're not going to use Mongoose Bite. But, you know, they're there. We'll do a little single target build first. So we'll talk about a few things. Lunge, now this should be 3 yards. It's been changed to 1 point talent. Very good, used to be 3 points. Frenzy Strikes affects Carve and Butchery. That's fine. All this has been reduced. This is a new node here, which is each stack of Mongoose Bite increases kill command reset. Very cool. This also increases flanking strike damage. Cool. This increases Butchery and Carve damage. Cool. Crit Strike, whatever. Wild Bomb, whatever. This was here before. Kill command generating more focus. Sure. And then this is new Viper's Venom. So this was the old talent that used to be down here. Basically what it does now is that Raptor Strike and Mongoose Bite have a chance to apply Serpent Sting to your target, which is basically like Serpent Doctor's Trickery for marksmanship. This is kind of added because of the Wildfire infusion here with Volatile Bomb. That has been changed as well. So Volatile Bomb reacts violently with poison, causing an extra explosion against enemies suffering from your Serpent Sting, and applying Serpent Sting to up to 5 targets. So because Serpent Sting was in the general tree instead of the spec tree, Volatile Bomb wasn't really doing anything. So they did this change to kind of allow it to have an effect and still have that benefit if you didn't take Serpent Sting. I think it's kind of weird that it's not over with the Mongoose Bite in like the single target tree, but I understand that it's there for Volatile Bomb. However, really, you're probably not going to end up going to this side in single target. It's possible you do, of course, because you take stuff like this, you know, take all your damage increases for Raptor Strike and everything, and then you still have 1 point left. But really, at that point, you want to start moving down into the bottom here and grabbing stuff down here instead of putting points over here. So I think this should probably be moved. I think these can also be reduced to 1 point talents. Still think there's too many 2 point talents in this tree. I'm not grabbing that many nodes, but I'm still sending 20 points, you know. So I think that can be done better a little bit, but it's still way better than it was before. You know, the fact that Bomb is actually part of the single target rotation now instead of just being a button you never push because you don't even have the talent points to spec into it is a really good change. But what's really changed is down here, kind of in the bottom. So on single target, you're going to want to basically go down like this row and this row here. AoE, you want kind of this area, and maybe Explosive Experts, which is pretty interesting. So Wildfire Infusion, we talked about how that was changed. Quick Shot, so this is whenever kill command is reset, you have a chance to fire out Arcane Shot. Pretty interesting. Again, though, this is like a single target talent, and you're not really going to get down here in single target. I think this should be moved over here. It's weird it's down here. I guess this is kind of like the kill command side, but because of Intense Focus. But really, I think this could be shuffled. I think Intense Focus can be moved up here, maybe. That's just me. Fear the Eagle still here. Nothing really has changed here. However, Ruthless Marauder was added. So basically what happens here is that Fear the Eagle has an increased crit chance against targets below 20% health, so like an execute. And then Fear the Eagle crit strikes reduce the cooldown of Bomb and Flanking Strike by 0.5 seconds. So this is interesting but kind of weird. So the way this works is that basically they want you to use this kind of like as an execute AoE button. But the way Fear the Eagle works, it's like Fist of Fury. It's a 4-second channel. You kind of swinging your spear around, which is really weird by the fact that it has that increase crit chance against targets below 20% health. It has 30% baseline as well, so this kind of just gives it more crit chance below those targets. So I think this is a little mismatch where they want this to use, because Fury is generally one of those buttons that's better at the start of a pull, but at the end of the pull, like when things are below 20% health, do you really need that Flanking Strike Wildfire Bomb CDR because the pack is going to be dead by then? So it's just kind of interesting. It's weird how they're trying to kind of work that in because it doesn't really go with what the button is trying to do. Because whenever Bomb and Flanking Strike are like cooling down and you're using it on targets with low health, they'll probably be dead by the time you actually use the Bomb. So I think that should be looked at a little bit. It's not bad overall. Like Fear the Eagle is still probably a button you take in AoE, but the fact that it's just kind of a weird backwards, not really working as you should be kind of investigated. This has been changed as well, Coordinate Assault. So it's 2 minutes again. You strike them for a massive amount of attack power damage, which is pretty cool. And then for the next 20 seconds, every time your pet attacks something, it empowers your next cast. So it makes Bomb do 20% more damage, which is a really big, powerful AoE cooldown. And also makes your kill shot apply Bleeding Gash, which is a very strong dot to your target. Currently, this also makes kill shot reset and usable on any target. It doesn't say that anywhere if that's intended or not. If that is intended, then this is a very powerful single target and AoE cooldown. The Bleeding Gash wound, like the bleed you put on them, can stack up to like 8, 9, 10 times as the highest I've gotten it. and can do some serious damage. It can tick for like 10k with the gear level we have on Alpha at like level 60. So that's a lot of damage. They also changed these ones a little bit. So Deadly Duo. Basically, whenever CA is active, Wildfire Bomb is reduced by however many %. It generates focused, and Killshot can be used on any target regardless of their current health. Oh, yeah, sorry. That's the part that makes Killshot usable, but the pet attacks also reset it. I got that one mixed up a little bit in my head. So this makes pet attacks also reset Killshot, which isn't mentioned anywhere. It would be good if that's intended. Otherwise, you would only be able to use like 1 Killshot or 2 Killshots in the window. So that should be mentioned somewhere. But this, basically, you need to take with Coordinated Assault. And also, Birds of Prey, attacking your pet's target with Mongoose Bite, Raptor Strike, or Butchery, or Cryo extends its duration. This they're going to change because right now you don't actually want to use Mongoose Bite or Raptor Strike during Coordinated Assault. Because it doesn't really have any like impact. So they're going to move that around, change that around, and that'll be good. But I think this is a much better place to have this cooldown in than it was before. Explosive Expert, Killshot reduces the cooldown of Wildfire Bomb. Decent. It's in a weird spot again. I think that it should be moved more to the left side, more to the bomb side. It being over here is weird, but like it's fine. I skipped over Ranger, so this makes Kill Shot, Serpent Sting, Arcane Shot, Steady Shot, and Explosive Shot deal more damage. This is like they don't want Survival to be a full-on range spec or have the option to be ranged, but this kind of buffs your range damage while playing as Survival. So you know, kind of an interesting path to go down. It has benefit with our Quick Shot shooting at Arcane Shots. It has benefit with all the Kill Shot interaction in the middle tree here. So I think it's interesting. I don't think you're going to take it just because of how many points you want to spend in other places, but it's neat it's there. And then lastly, we have this little line here. Killer Companion, kill command damage increased by 5%. This is not a talent that should be down in this 20-point gate. This is a very easy, small talent that should definitely be higher up in this tree. It's very unimpactful. I don't think this should be here at all. I think it should be moved. Spearhead is good. It's still not testable on PTR. As far as I'm aware. 1.5 minute cooldown, your pet charge your enemy, striking them for damage. Then you become one with your pet. Your pet damage is increased, Raptor Strike and Mongoose Bite deal more damage, and Kill Command resets more often. So this is just your single target nuke. Not nuke, but big cooldown. Pretty good. Raptor Strike, Mongoose Bite doing more damage. As a dot is great. More Kill Command means more focus for Mongoose Bite windows, and your pet doing more damage is always good as well. And then they have this little talent, Coordinated Kill. While it's active, focus cost of Raptor Strike and Mongoose Bite is reduced, which is really good. And Kill Command cooldown resets extended duration. So this is really interesting. This is like your new Birds of Prey Coordinated Assault build that's been on live for a little bit. This interaction is really fun, and I really hope to get to play with it soon. As far as I'm aware, it's still unimplemented and I haven't been able to test it. But it seems like it'll be a pretty interesting single target thing, especially if you can line it up with Coordinated Assault off that rip there. However, because they have different use cases and different cooldowns, it's going to be interesting to see if you want to use both of them. Because basically much this, you want to just be using Raptor Strike, Mongoose Bite, or one of the others, and Kill Command. And this one, you don't want to be using those. You want to be using Wildfire Bomb and Kill Shot. So I think there's a little bit of counterplay between the two cooldowns. But I think that's fine and can be interesting depending on how it ends up in the future. So that's the Survival Tree. I think there's definitely some interesting things that are on this tree, but I also think that there's definitely some improvements that can be made, especially to some of the placements down in the bottom here, and then just some of the point costs still can be reduced, but otherwise I think it's pretty good. So that is the Hunter tree updates. I'm really excited to see where Hunter is going. I think a lot of the changes have been really good. The dev is doing great. He's putting a lot of feedback out for the Hunter stuff. And really, I'm super excited to see how this ends up in the final build. I think Hunter is pretty fun on Alpha right now. I've definitely been enjoying it because Demon Hunter isn't out yet. It's kind of my alt. So I'm really excited to see where this goes, and I'm hoping for some good stuff. There's definitely some stuff to improve, as I meant going over in this video. But overall, I like it. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, leave a comment if you enjoyed, if you have any questions, or think I gave some bad feedback on some of these things. Really appreciate it. Subscribe. Growing channel. Really trying to hit that 500 before Dragonflight comes out. If I do, I'll do a giveaway. But with that, I want to thank everybody for watching the video, and have a good day.